On this episode of UTR, we stretch out and feel free up in the UP. We'll try some treats, fly on a bike, and monkey around with some jam. Then we care for bears, dig up some history, and even walk on water. Frozen, that is. Get ready to explore the cool people, places, and things that make Michigan's Upper Peninsula a great place to roam with some room.
Some places make us feel like we instantly belong, where the first thing we feel is the calm. We just feel at ease. And the only rule is to just make it up as we go along. Exploring world-class shipwrecks or pulling up a chair at the local restaurant to share our stories. So let's go to the place that invites us to make it our own. Our place in Pure, Michigan.
A visit to the Stalls Auto Collection will take you back to a time when cars were more than just a way to get around. A fantastic assortment of gas pumps, neon signs, and automated music machines dating back 150 years that must be seen and heard. Info at stallsauto.com.
I've been around the world, but there's one place I keep coming back to. And the more I explore, the more I realize it's the place to be. I'm Tom Dalton, and this is Under the Radar, Michigan.
Now, if you're like me, you're itching to be free, and for that, you need Michigan's glorious UP. Because as you're about to see, from tree to shining tree, these wide open spaces are where you're going to want to be. Let's face it, in this day and age, it's nice to have a place to go where you can stretch out, have some room, and still make the most of being a Michigander. Well, that's what Michigan's incredible Upper Peninsula is all about. It's got all the comforts of home, with lots of natural and man-made places to explore and roam. So don your stormy chromer and hop in, because we're heading up to Ishpeming in the winter to see super-duper Youper enthusiast Elizabeth Peterson.
What brought you up to the UP, to this part of the world?
Well, I originally moved up here for a job.
Yeah.
Not really sure what I got myself into, and at first I don't think I embraced it the way I, probably should have. Right. And one day I woke up and I just realized, look at where we live.
Oh, this is spectacular.
It's amazing, and we went outside and we never stopped.
You are very lucky.
I feel very grateful to be here.
Well, it didn't take long before Elizabeth challenged Jim and me to a tubing race down a huge hill onto Teal Lake. And as usual, well, things didn't go in our favor. But we had a great time, and I'm pretty sure Elizabeth cheated. So after a leisurely ride back up the hill, we headed into town to a place called Wilderness Sports. I was told they have everything I need to survive in the UP.
Hey, Sandy, I got a challenge for you. I'm a flatlander, and you got 60 seconds to make me a Youper.
I can do that.
Really?
Yes.
Let's do it.
All right, for starters, Tom, you're going to need a pair of choppers.
What are choppers? Oh, gloves. Oh, mittens. Look, Michigan.
Almost.
Nice save.
You're going to need these.
Socks? Great. Boy, my ankles are thin, but I'll try these.
Long underwear.
Okay, can I have two? I've got skinny legs. Do I need one of these?
Tom, focus.
Darn. Hey, Sandy, does this come in a man style?
You're going to need some snowshoes.
They're as big as a sled.
And you're going to need a stormy chromer.
No, thanks, Sandy. I already got one.
Well, as promised, Wilderness Sports had everything I needed to become a real Youper. And we couldn't have asked for a better sport than Sandy Sundquist. A great lady and a heck of an actor, too. Well, now that we're all official Youpers, time to nudge our way over to Negaunee for a lady whose treats are as sweet as she is.
Right next to Ishpeming is a little town called Negaunee, and there they have one place that serves over 100 different kinds of cheesecake. I call that place heaven.
And that place is this place, the Midtown Bakery and Cafe. A great little hometown hangout that'll tempt you with just about everything they serve. And Mary Beth Kurtz makes it happen here every day. And how do we know that? Because every day we were here, we were there. Here. Oh, now I'm confused.
This place is like a combination coffee shop, bakery, and restaurant because you do everything. How long have you been in town?
We've been in this location for 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
it started out, my business partner and I had antiques. Bakery was way back there in that other doorway. That's way, way back there. And slowly over the years, the bakery expanded. As the antiques expanded, we purchased another building and separated the two and started doing soups and salads and sandwiches.
And of course, let's not forget about the house specialty.
You have over 100 different flavors of cheesecake.
I'd say probably closer to 150.
How do you even do that? What do you have like? What do you have like liver and onion and mint chicken and?
No meat-based cheesecakes, that's for sure.
Well, thank goodness for that. Anyway, I had a chance to sample a few of Mary Beth's cheesecakes, and it's no wonder why so many people love the Midtown Bakery and Cafe. Heck, I liked it so much, for all you know, I might still be here. Or there.
Well, I'm filled up to about here with comfy calories from cheesecake, so time to press the summer button and get some exercise UP style. Oh, and see Jim fly. You'll see what I mean.
You know, if you're into mountain biking, Michigan is a great place to be. But if you're really into mountain biking, you gotta check out Copper Harbor. That's what I'm doing right now.
That's because the bike trails up here are being called some of the best in the world. The Copper Harbor Trail Club is determined to put this place on the world stage, and they've done just that by developing a system of trails that will satisfy beginners and blow the minds of professionals. Well, it was time to bike up and hit the trails. And speaking of up, you won't believe how far up you get to go in Copper Harbor. At the top, I met up with Aaron Rogers. He's a mountain bike enthusiast whose vision and sweat equity has put these trails on the world map. When Aaron's not traveling the planet spreading the good news about this area, he's right here in Copper Harbor hitting the trails, and hitting them hard.
All right, do it.
You gotta wait for me.
I'm trying.
I'm not used to this. You know, I love to mountain bike, but these mountain biking trails are actually in the mountains.
They actually are.
You guys maintain these trails?
Yeah, our club maintains over 32 miles of trails around Copper Harbor here.
Well, do people come here from around the world?
Yeah, we see people coming from all over the place, definitely from all 50 states and multiple countries. Lots of people coming down from Canada.
Well, how did you get this place known on the world stage of mountain biking?
Well, we've been working hard at it for years, and you know, we've had the support of an amazing community, and our nonprofit organization has definitely taken a lot of steps to build all the trails to make this place world class.
And these trails are very well maintained.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we have 6 full-time volunteers throughout the summer that work on these trails to keep them maintained.
This is awesome.
Well, everything was going great with the shoot until we arrived at a part of the trail that was daunting to say the least.
They're easier if you hit them at speed.
Yeah, I'm just a little nervous.
But lucky enough, Jim and Eric were there to fill me up with false confidence.
You can do it. You're good. Just take it slow. Put your foot out, keep your foot down, and you're good.
So here goes nothing.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm good.
And then it happened.
Oh, there goes Jim. You all right? I'm good.
Yep, in the blink of an eye, Jim, his bike, and UTR camera number 1 dropped about 10 feet to the forest floor.
Holy moly. Eric, you got that?
No, that would have been the best B-roll ever.
Best shot.
And even without a superhero costume, Jim walked away unscathed. So ladies, if you're looking for a true man of steel, Jim can be reached at 734. Once we picked up the pieces, coming down the backside of the mountain was a half-hour thrill ride like I've never had before. Wow, mountain biking with real mountains. Not what I'm used to, but I could get used to doing this real quick.
Well, next up, we head up to a higher place that's in, well, a higher place. And as you might expect with UTR, there's food involved. Mm-mm.
You know, when it comes to Michigan jams and jellies, I think I just found heaven on earth.
Oh! That's right, we're at the Jam Pot, a little bakery and jam shop on M26 just north of Eagle River. And what makes this place so unique? Well, these sweet treats are made by genuine Catholic Byzantine monks. If you're eating corporate-made, mass-produced jams and jellies, consider this segment your divine intervention. These heavenly handmade spreadables and baked goods are made by authentic holy men with nothing but your taste buds in mind. When Father Basil isn't tending to holy matters up the road at the monastery, he's here at the bakery helping the other monks make mouth-watering jams and baked goods.
How long has this monastery been here?
We've been here 30 years.
30 years. And what mad you pick the Tahquamenon Peninsula?
Well, we liked what we saw, and we ordered up some topographic maps. We liked the way the land was broken up and hilly and how it interacted with the lake and the water. So we decided to pay a visit. We made 7 visits before we actually moved. We were from the Detroit area, and people told us that we were absolutely insane for thinking about coming to the Tahquamenon. They said, but you can cure yourself of the madness. Just go in the winter. So we came in February.
You showed them that you are crazy.
And we loved it. And so here we are.
Well, if you're a spiritual person, the natural beauty up here,
Yes.
it just lends itself to that
That's right.
lifestyle.
And that's why the February visit was actually made our decision. It was sunny at the time. There had been lots of snow, so it was brilliantly white. There was no traffic at all to speak of on the highways, and it was exceptionally quiet. So it seemed the perfect place for monastic life.
monking.
For monking.
Yes. I have to ask you though, how did you get into the whole jams and jellies thing in the bakery?
We arrived in the fall or late summer. Job number 1 was surviving the winter, so that's what we had to worry about, getting firewood and making sure we had a water supply and all of those very practical things. Once that was done and winter set in, there wasn't much else to do except think. So we put our heads together and tried to think about what we would do to survive. So the only thing we could think of was to do what many other people in the area were doing. That was to pick the wild berries in the summer and to make jam. And we had to throw away quite a few batches before we got some things right. But we made jam, we made jelly, and at that point we started adding baked goods to our repertoire, and well, the rest is history.
What's the most rewarding thing about what you do?
Well, what I do personally is actually the interaction I have with the customers. I have to admit that here we get far many more agreeable customers than I've encountered in other counter jobs. And I think that's simply because people are on vacation, it's a beautiful area, the weather for the most part is great, and they're enjoying themselves.
And the proceeds go to?
To the monastery. They support us.
It's a win-win-win-win.
Well, we think so. It's worked out very well.
The smells in the kitchen and the treats we sampled were absolutely divine. If you're looking for the stairway to heavenly jams and baked goods, I highly recommend a pilgrimage to the Jam Pot.
Now bear with me. This next segment you'll barely believe, but once you see it, you'll barely be able to keep yourself away. Honest.
When there's no one left to care for a bear, where do they go? I'll tell you where. They go to Oswald's Bear Ranch, that's where. It's pretty nice here, too.
Just north of Newberry in the eastern UP is Oswald's Bear Ranch. And if it wasn't for this place, the bears you see would probably cease to be. They call Dean Oswald Bear Man, and for good reason. His love for these gentle giants has helped create a sanctuary for orphaned and abused bears that otherwise would have probably met their end. This is also a place where man and beast come together to gain a mutual respect for each other. Young and old come to Oswald's Bear Ranch to have an up-close and personal experience with Michigan's beautiful black bear. The entire Oswald family is a part of the process here, working around the clock to make sure these bears are happy and healthy. As for Dean, well, he's probably one of the most interesting people you'll ever meet.
Now, Dean, I'm sure you didn't always have a bear ranch. What did you do before you were a bear wrangler?
Before bears, high school, Marine Corps, police department, fire department, professional boxer for 11 years. Started bear hunting in 1962, gave it up a couple of years later, started rescuing bears in '84, and have been rescuing for 31 years now.
I didn't realize what gentle creatures they really are.
They are, Tom. When I get them, they're normally from a logging accident or a car accident or a person that's breeding that has them and has too many, has to get rid of them. I'll get them when they're like 3 pounds. And that's just about that long and about that high. And I put them in the house with me. Normally 2 or 3 we get in 1st of March. Born in January. All black bears are born in January. And
so you're Papa Bear?
I'm Mama Bear. I'm Mama Bear. So, but anyway, so I do that through the winter time, and then when the weather starts breaking, like the 1st of May, then we take them outside, and my youngest son takes over from there.
And the habitats that you've built here for them are extraordinary. They're huge. There's waterfalls.
Well, they should be. I mean, if you're going to have an animal in captivity, particularly a bear, our one habitat that's behind you right now is better than a half mile around. Got low spots in it, got high spots in it. There's water running through it all day long, fresh water. Then we have the waterfalls area, which is for the bears that were cub bears. 1 and 2 and 3 year olds go into there.
There's something mystical about bears.
Yeah.
There's just something about an animal that powerful, that's that gentle.
7 times the strength of you and I.
And they'll still take a little piece of candy out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Because I think they love you.
Well, I don't know. I never asked any of them, but
well, I can see they're crazy about it.
Out of 31 years, I've only been bit one time, and that's because the bear was jealous.
Now, when it comes to kids and bears, there's one thing they all have in common. After a healthy meal, they all want something sweet. And they're both not afraid to whine for it.
There you go. Come on. Come on, num num. Num num. Num 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 num. Num num. Is that num num num? Num num num.
What do they really eat?
Fruits, vegetables, meats. Oh yeah, they eat better than you and I.
So they get a real healthy diet. This is just a treat. This is like with my kids, they get a treat.
Cindy, the cook from Zeller, saves them all the breakfast stuff. The bacon, the sausage, the French toast.
Oh, so they get all the food groups.
All around, plus they eat peaches all day, pears all day, apples all day.
And now you can't release this bear into the wild.
No, they'll be here for 25 years, be here till he dies.
Wow.
Yeah, should be here.
Oswald's Bear Ranch is a great place for the whole family to laugh and learn about these mighty and majestic animals. And after spending a few hours with Dean and his family, it's obvious they have found true bear heaven right here in the UP.
That's good, yes, that's good.
Now, in this segment, we head back up to Houghton Hancock up on the Keweenaw Peninsula for a heaping helping of subterranean history. You'll totally dig this.
You know, back in the day, this part of Michigan's Upper Peninsula was called copper country, and many a penny came out of mines just like this one. And right now, we're going to find out how it all happened.
The Quincy Mine Tour is one of the coolest things you can ever do in this part of Michigan. From the incredible towering shaft house, built by the same company that built the Mackinac Bridge, to the world's largest steam hoist still to this day, there's as much history above the ground here as there is below it. And to make sure we left no nugget unturned, I dug up Tom Wright.
So I'm guessing this is the part of the mine tour where we actually go down into the mine.
We're going down. We'll be going about 1,400 feet down the hill here, and then we will be going about 2,000 feet back into the mine. We'll be about 368 feet underground when we get back to our final destination.
360 feet underground.
360 feet.
But the mine, originally the mine went how many feet?
9,260 feet. The deepest incline shaft in the world at one time.
When was this mine in its heyday?
Peak period here was 1910 to 1912. 1911, Quincy Mine employed 2,145 men. Amazing hub of activity here at Tahquamenon.
And it was all copper coming out of here?
All copper. Richest copper mines in the world at that period.
And they found diamonds, they would just discard them?
Yeah, they got rid of that stuff. They didn't need them. If you're going to build an industrial society, you need copper, and we supplied it.
At the actual entrance to the mine, we all hopped off the cog railway and onto a steel wagon that transported us way deep into the earth.
How far in do we go before we go down, or are we going down?
We're just going to go straight into the hillside.
Gotcha.
You know, we're going to be about 368 feet underground, going 2,000 feet under. We are going through some of the oldest rock strata in the world that you can put your hands on. 1.1 billion-year-old rock. Over 400 lava flows put down. We're going through 200 ancient lava flows.
And what's the temperature here right now?
43 degrees year-round. I know under the radar does cool things. This is cool.
As you make your way down into the mine, you really start to get a sense of what these miners' lives were really like.
What really blows my mind is the fact that, I mean, we've got lights down here right now, but the guys that worked down here back in the day did it in candlelight?
Candlelight. 1 or 2 candles going, and see, they're paying for those candles too. It's taken out of their wages. So that encourages them to be frugal with those candles.
That's amazing to me. So how would they get the copper out?
They're going to be hand drilling. They've got hand drill steels. They've got 12-pound sledgehammers to pound those holes. Fill them up with black powder, stick a fuse in, run around the corner, blast it, and then you call in the trammers to move it all out of here.
Why was copper so important back then?
Our country was growing. We're becoming an industrial power, right? On our way to becoming an industrial superpower. Yeah. We need copper. Copper sheathing for our warships to keep barnacles and borers off of the hulls. Copper for brass and for bronze so we can make cannons and arm those warships. Copper to string a telegraph wire. In 1868, this district produced about 90% of America's copper. In this mine, roughly half of that 90%. A huge impact on what our country became.
It's just amazing the amount of history that you learn when you come down here.
What these men did, it's an untold story. The hardship, the danger. Over 253 men died at Quincy alone, helping make our country what it is.
Tom painted such an interesting and detailed picture of the mine's incredible history that not once on the tour did you feel anything but fun and fascination. At the Quincy Mine Tour, they dig deep to make sure you have a blast.
Now for our final segment, we're going to bounce back to winter and do some walking in the woods. And as you'll soon see, when you do that, there's no shoe like a snowshoe.
The next morning, we headed about 2.5 hours east to a place in the UP we'd been to in the summer, but never under these beautiful and snowy conditions. And this last leg of our adventure would put us back on our feet again, but this time with a little help from an old friend that's been helping people walk in the snow for over 100 years now.
And speaking of old friends, we found another one. Here we go again.
Now, you may remember Teresa Neal from such TV shows as Under the Radar, episode 506. She was the awesome park ranger at Tahquamenon Falls State Park who showed us all of the wild, watery wonders they have here. Well, as luck would have it, there's something else they have here at the park. In the winter, they conduct guided snowshoe hikes, and Teresa is our official guide.
So this is like old home week on UTR, because first we saw Tasha again, and now you.
Yes,
so, and
welcome back.
Remember, we were here in the summertime, and you were so wonderful. You actually rowed us, I think, in a boat over to the lower falls.
I did row you in a boat.
Which
yes.
was, thank you very much.
One and done, by the way.
Yeah, thank you. But now we're here in the winter, obviously, to snowshoe. What is the experience like? Is it free? How does this work?
Sure. So every Saturday in February, we get out as many snowshoes as possible.
Yep.
And people come from all over the state and all over the Midwest to borrow snowshoes for free. They can take a hike on their own, or they can go on our guided hike at 2 o'clock. And then oftentimes people stick around to do a 1-mile lantern-lit trail.
Yeah, we were going to do the nighttime one, but the cameras don't work too well at night, so we thought this might be easier.
That's true.
So these snowshoes look a little different than the ones I've seen in the movies.
Sure,
So obviously they've progressed.
There are many different types of snowshoes anymore. So we have our traditional wood frame snowshoes, which are more the original style that you might think of in the movies, the ones that hang on the wall and are really pretty.
You see at restaurants.
But they're super nice in this fluffy stuff we have right now. So they're really good at blazing a trail. They're nice and quiet in the snow, and they're pretty. You can hang them up in the summertime.
But this is also an educational experience?
It is, yeah. So the guided snowshoe hike, we talk about winter survival, about winter at the park.
Well, speaking of the park, the trail system here is more than just around the falls. It's gigantic, isn't it?
It is, yeah. The winter, we have a few different trails, so we keep some trails groomed just for snowshoeing. We keep some groomed just for skiing. But people can explore anywhere in the park in the wintertime.
It's not too strenuous of a hike, is it?
No, it'll be okay. Okay. I geared it down for you.
Oh, thanks, thanks. What is it, it's 55 minutes instead of an hour? Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, it was almost time to take off into the snowy tundra. So as Teresa did her pre-trek talk, I geared up and got ready for adventure. This wintry hike really is a blast, and you learn so much about the forest along the way. Not to mention the fact that you get some much-needed winter exercise and make a ton of new friends. As we hiked between the trees, Teresa told wonderful stories, imparted fascinating facts, and believe it or not, these snowshoes really do keep you about 5 feet above the forest floor. But the coolest part of the whole experience is at the very end of the hike, when suddenly the winter majesty of Tahquamenon's upper falls appears right before your eyes. Now, I'd seen the falls in the summer, but never like this. And thanks to Matt's gratuitous drone footage, you get to see the falls like the birds do, from high above and all around. Seeing the falls like this kind of makes you want to grow wings. But even on the ground, Tahquamenon is absolutely awesome. What a great end to a fun and wonderful hike.
Well, that wraps up this edition of our Feel Free in the UP show. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope you get up to Michigan's Upper Peninsula real soon. Because I think you'll find that once you get up there, you've got room for both elbows.
Some places make us feel like we instantly belong, where the first thing we feel is the calm. We just feel at ease. And the only rule is to just make it up as we go along. Exploring world-class shipwrecks or pulling up a chair at the local restaurant to share our stories. So let's go to the place that invites us to make it our own. Our place in Pure, Michigan.
A visit to the Stalls Auto Collection will take you back to a time when cars were more than just a way to get around. A fantastic assortment of gas pumps, neon signs, and automated music machines dating back 150 years that must be seen and heard. Info at stallsauto.com.